بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So now inshallah we're on phase 9, which is the final phase of all the phases of the Arabic language. And so inshallah let's do this. Alright, so page 109. Alright, so I said now that you got a taste of Arabic literature, it is time to get back to the technical stuff. You have to study balagha now. This is a science. I don't want to say you have to study. You should study. You don't have to study balagha. I mean, you can live your life without ever studying balagha, inshallah, and you still go to Jannah. But I'm just saying, like, you should study it. You should. If you're at that type of level now, because most of the balagha, anyways, it's not really super necessary. It's not really, but it's good. I mean, if you want to read the tafsir of Shawkani, Fathul Qadir, you better study balagha.
What is balagha?
Like eloquence in speech. Like basically, like when you study literature, you study like all the literary devices and how, the different like ways that they use different figurative speech, and that's it. So like they're just basically giving you qawaid, like principles on, this type of speech. But it's not something that you have to go deep into. One book suffices, inshallah. Probably, I'm pretty sure there are some ulama of the language that were in Egypt right now that would probably try to have me executed for saying what I just said. One book suffices. No, you got to be crazy. You have to study this. No, you don't. You study one book is enough. In fact, they have one poem that you can memorize. It's called the Jawhar al-Maknoon, which is about 300 and something lines of poetry. Khalas. Covers all the principles of balagha. I should. I probably mentioned it here. Let me see. All right. Now that you got a taste of Arabic literature, it is time to go back to the technical stuff. You have to study balagha now. This is a science much like sarf that you do not want to spend too much time on. Get what you need from the science and keep it moving. It is not necessary that you go to a library and begin reading all these massive books on this subject. A few books will do. In fact, one book. If you really study, al-balaghat al-wadiha is really sufficient. It's really sufficient. As far as just getting the qawaid. A few books will do, and then you can get to more important things. The book that you want to study in this science is al-balaghat al-wadiha. This is a simple book and with exercises and examples. All the rules of balagha will be taught in this book. There's another smaller book called Durus al-Balagha. Now, Durus al-Balagha, let me. I don't think I mentioned it here. Durus al-Balagha is not to be confused, because they came out in the early 2000s, like way back, like late 1990s, early 2000s, they came out with Durus al-Balagha, but it wasn't complete. They only had like a little small portion of it. It was written by a majmur of ulama. I think they're, if I'm not mistaken, they're from Egypt. All right, I have the book. Hold on. So basically, they came out with this book, but it wasn't complete. Like for some reason, like when it got printed, they had only had a small portion of it. They had lost the rest of it. So if you go, Sheikh Al-Uthaymin rahimahullah, he's got a book. It's called Sharh al-Balagha. And he's only explaining a small portion of this book, what was available at the time. So if you get the book, you get it now, you get the whole entire book. And it's very beneficial. And in fact, it's you can memorize it if you wanted to. I mean, it's like, it's very beneficial in the fact that he'll bring all the principles, he'll explain it, and then he'll bring the abiyat, to share. He'll actually bring you like lines of poetry to show you this rule being implemented in the poetry. So it's if you memorize it, then khalas, you're pretty much good to go as far as balagha. It's not a small book in that. I'm trying to remember how long it used to take me to read it. I'll say probably a little over an hour. So I'll say it's about maybe the size of, I think it's a little bit bigger than Kitab al-Tawheed. Kitab al-Tawheed used to take me about 68 minutes to 70 minutes to read the whole entire matan. That's the daughter Ibn Hazm copy, not the other one. The other one I can read a lot faster. But yeah, I would say it's about that size. So It's memorizable. If you can memorize Kitab Tawheed, you can memorize the Durus al-Balagha. So I said all the rules of Balagha will be taught in this book. There's another smaller book called Durus al-Balagha, which I found very beneficial and something you can memorize. It all depends on the resources you have available to you. It will not be easy for you to find a teacher that can teach these books. So you might have to use the internet for this one. If you have a teacher, you should go with whatever book he suggests. There is a book, and most of the people that are going to teach Al-Balaghat al-Wadiha. That's generally the book that everybody, There's another book that also written by Al-Hashimi, because he had Jawahir al-Adab, but he also has Jawahir al-Balagha. He had two books. One, Jawahir al-Adab, and the other one was Jawahir al-Balagha. And the one on Balagha is just going over the principles and rules of al-Balagha. But most of the people, they teach Al-Balaghat al-Wadiha. It's the easiest book, the most common, and it's available everywhere. You can go on Sift al-Safa right now and order it right now. I mean, it's that available. All right. I said it all depends on, if you have a teacher, you should go with whatever he suggests. There's a third book written by Ahmed al-Hashimi called Jawahir al-Balagha. I love that when I sit here and talk about things and then go read the next line and I mention it in the next line. That's how you know that I wrote this book.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I do this. I'm doing this basically the whole entire book.
I think I can't think of a single dars. You said something,
and then it's the next line.
It's the next one. I can't think of the time you didn't do that. Like I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it the whole book. I'm like, oh, there it goes, it's right there. Almost. All right, and it is a good book also. Go with whatever your teacher suggests. If you have to study from the internet, you can find lessons on Al-Balaghat al-Wadiha online. I do not know about the other two books. The other book, Jawahir al-Balagha, Sheikh Fath al-Qadasi, he taught it, but I don't know how easy those lessons will be to find online. I know they were available at one point, but I'm not sure now. Sheikh Al-Uthaymin rahimahullah taught Durus al-Balagha, but they did not have the complete book when he taught it. They did not find the complete book until after his death. Sheikh Al-Uthaymin actually only taught a small portion of the book, but his lessons are still beneficial. And he also taught the Durus al-Balagha right around the time that he taught the Sharh of al-Arba'in al-Nawawiyya, which is interesting because he started actually testing the students, because I read Durus al-Balagha, then I read the Sharh of al-Arba'in that he had, and I saw that he was asking the students questions in the Balagha that they had taken in the Durus al-Balagha. That's how he revised it. He actually revised it in the Sharh of al-Arba'in. So, mashallah. He said they did not find the complete book. All right, I read all that. That is really sufficient for this science, but by now you should be ready to get in those books that you have been seeing other people study. Now you can do that. I mean, because like the books that I mentioned in the last phase, those are the books that you really, really want to spend the time with. Al-Kamil, Al-Mubarrad, we're talking about language, like as far as the Arabic language. Really what you want to spend your time with is what? What's probably the most important book that you can have? No, I mean, I'm saying as a language book.
Oh, language.
Not the Quran, not the Sunnah, just an actual language book. What is the most important book that, at this phase that you could really spend all your time in? Should we check the chat? There's no chat. It's not live streamed. No. Ajurumiyya, that's you done with that. You study that in like early phases of Nahu and you're done with it. Lisan al-Arab. Lisan al-Arab. I mean, I mentioned the statement, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure I brought it here. Let me make sure that I didn't say it again or something. I'm trying to read the next line. But it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was from Sheikh Saleh al-Sheikh. And he asked Muhammad ibn Ibrahim, I believe. Don't quote me on this, because even me, I keep getting the names mixed up all the time. And when I wrote this book and put the quote in the book, I had to go look it up to make sure I got the quote right before I said it. But like he was asking him, he went to him and asked him, he said, I want to get strong in the Arabic language. What should I do? He said, read Lisan al-Arab. And he said, yeah, Sheikh, Lisan al-Arab? He said, go find another profession then. If you're not willing to put in this type of work, then this is not the job for you. Go find something else to do. And he said, okay, I'll read Lisan al-Arab. But he took his advice. But he was shocked because he didn't think like this is a book to read, But he told him, he said, read Lisan al-Arab. That's going to give you, so at this point, this is where you really, throughout all of phase 7, 8, 9, you like Lisan al-Arab has got to be your best companion. So I said, conclusion, this pretty much covers all there is to cover. I'm just making sure that this was still recorded because I was like, what's going on? All right, this pretty much covers all there is to cover as far as the language goes. You are advised to continue studying Nahu, however. There are a few more books that you might feel the need to study, and they are Alfiyat ibn Malik, Sharh ibn Aqil ala Alfiyat ibn Malik, Mughni Labib. So, I mean, really, you just you study Sharh ibn Aqil and you study Mughni Labib if you can. And then you read. You got a bunch of other books that you could read, like I mentioned, the Kafiyat Shafiyah in the previous. So you got Kafiyat Shafiyah, which is the explanation of the original poem. Because the name of Alfiyat ibn Malik was not called Alfiyat ibn Malik. It was called Al-Khulasa. Al-Khulasa because it was, taken out of a bigger poem, which was over 2,500 lines. And then he took 1,000 lines of poem and said, this is the Khulasa. This is the, if you wanted to know what's the bare minimum of what you need to know in Nahu, this is it. So he named Alfiyat ibn Malik Al-Khulasa. But the original poem was called Al-Kafiyatu Ash-Shafiyah, similar to what Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah named his Nuniyah. His Nuniyah was also named Al-Kafiyat Ash-Shafiyah. So Muhammad ibn Malik actually explained this poem in 2 volumes. It's like 2 huge volumes. He explained the whole entire poem. The Kafiyat and the Kafiyat Ash-Shafiyah, not the Alfiyah. He never explained the Alfiyah. But he explained, not that we have it in book form. I'm pretty sure he explained it, but not in a book form. The only one that he explained was the original poem. All right. So yeah, you want to read those. You want to read those poems. Not the poem, but you want to read the explanations. You also want to read all the Hashiyah, the Hawashi, on the you got the Hashiyah of Ibn Aqil. You got like a Tasrih ala Tawdih, which is you got what's the other one? Subhanallah, it's been so long, man. I gotta go back and remember all the names of all these books. But you got so many different books. The reading it's never gonna end. So as far as you can sit back and just read books of the Lugha for the rest of your life. Seriously, if you were just that entranced with the language, you could really just drown yourself. I mean, there's so many different dictionaries. You got the dictionary of Al-Azhari, amazing dictionary. You got Maqayis al-Lugha, amazing dictionary. You could just sit down and just read that dictionary. You got the Qamus al-Muhit, and then you got all these other different books on Balagha and Fasaha and all this. It's just, you could really get lost and forget what you were studying Arabic for in the first place. These 3 books should be sufficient for your studies. But there are a lot more books for you to read. The following books will come in handy for any research you will ever have to do for your studies in Nahu. Hamil Hawami' fi Sharh al-Jam' al-Jawami' al-Suyuti, excellent book. Sharh al-Kafiyat al-Shafiyah li Ibn Malik, the one I was talking about. Sharh al-Ashmuni ala Alfiyat ibn Malik, also high level, very high level. Hashiyat al-Sabban ala Sharh al-Ashmuni. Also, I mentioned all the Hawashi right here, so there you go. Hashiyat al-Khudari ala Sharh ibn Aqil. Hashiyat al-Dusuqi ala Mughni Labib. Sharh Kafiyat ibn al-Hajib li Radi al-Din. And Al-Kitab li-Sibawi. It's just like 5 volumes. It's right there. Right there. You see those colored books? You see the same explanation of the poetry?
Yeah.
All the way to the end. If you go to the left of those books, you see that those red books, that's like 4 or 5 volumes, and that's Al-Kitab. That's Sibawi's book. So, there's so much to read. So much to, subhanAllah, you could fill up every bookshelf in this room with just these books on the language, just buying all these different Hawashi. But again, when we have to remember what we're studying the Arabic language for. Because I'm telling you can get lost, akhi, because it's just so fun. And especially when you start to understand Nahu, akhi, you get carried away. You'll get carried away and you'll forget, hey, I got to study fiqh, I got to study mustalah hadith, I got to study usul al-fiqh, I got to study, all these different things, And you'll forget, akhi, you can forget easily. and you forget what you're doing. There are many more books to mention, but these are sufficient. These are the books that most scholars of Nahu quote from on a regular basis when they're teaching bigger books. You do not need all of these books, but why not? Why not? I mean, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened up the risk and you're able to get the books, then get them. Why not? If you have the money to spend on foolish items like a new phone you do not need or a new car you do not need, why not spend the money on these books? Makes more sense. You are also advised to teach Arabic regularly. This is the only way that you can keep the knowledge you have gained throughout your studies of the Arabic language. Imagine when you were where you were when you started, and look where you have reached if you have gotten to this level. This is an amazing journey, but the journey is only getting underway. Now you are about to begin seeking knowledge. So this was the whole point of this part of the book was to deal with the Arabic language, because that's the key. That's the master key. That opens up everything. And according to your level of understanding in the Arabic language, that's the level of understanding you're going to be in fiqh. The level of understanding you're going to be in usul al-fiqh and everything that you do. When you read through the hadith, your understanding of the hadith is going to be at the level of your understanding in the Arabic language. If you have this, alif, ba, ta understanding of the Arabic language, and that's the understanding that you're going to get when you read Sahih Bukhari. But if you have an understanding that rival, obviously you're not going to have the understanding of a Bukhari, but you want to get as close as you can to having that understanding, then you're going to get a lot more when you read the hadith that a lot of people are not going to pick up on. The language of the hadith, why the Prophet ﷺ used certain words and what those meanings are, and how that using that word, enhances the meaning of what he's saying or changes it. All of these types of things, you get it when you get on a higher level of Arabic language. So Allah musta'an. I mean, I say you get carried away. It's very easy to get carried away. So that's it, inshallah. That's the Arabic language. From the next chapter, we're going to start on the Quran memorization, which is kind of redundant right now, right? Why?
You had a whole book.
Because I took that chapter and expanded it into a whole book. But
I remember reading that part, that introduction. It's like I made a whole section in seeking knowledge, but I figured this was a bigger topic.
No, when I wrote the section in this book, I'd already planned, and I told Sajid when I wrote the section, I said someday I'm going to write this into a whole entire book. But for now, we're just going to have to just deal with it like right now. I didn't even want to put that in the book, but how are you going to have a book about seeking knowledge and you don't talk about the memorization of the Quran? That's just, come on, it's impossible. But all right, inshallah. Wa ilahuna subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.